Yeah, but I think it's a different thing. Stop the clinical disease or the symptoms is different from getting the virus, the infection, right? So basically, the vaccine lowers my symptoms, but it may not prevent me from being infected with SARS-CoV-2, which means
Right.
there's a possibility that I can still spread the virus even after I receive the vaccine. Correct?
That's the reason why, that's the reason why we ask you to wear a mask after you've been vaccinated. But the evidence is accumulating that the level of virus in the nasopharynx is very low, and it is unlikely that you would transmit it. But just to be sure, we're saying wear a mask. In the next couple of months, we will get enough data to be able to prove whether or not, if you get infected despite the fact that you're vaccinated, proving that in fact it is a very, very low risk that you would transmit it to someone else.
Yeah, but because I've been reading and I saw that you stop getting the symptoms, but you still can get infected and you can still spread it. So that was so. What is the main aim of the vaccines if they neither stop you from getting the virus or transmitting it?
Right. The main purpose of the vaccine is to prevent you from getting sick, going to the hospital, and maybe dying. That's the main purpose of the vaccine.
Okay.
The main purpose of the vaccine in general is to prevent you from getting clinical illness. We believe that when all the data come in, we will prove that it also prevents you from transmitting the infection to other people.
But not yet, right? That's what I suppose you keep telling everyone they need to keep wearing the mask even if they get vaccinated.
Absolutely, so, that's true.
Tell me, Dr. Fauci, how come we still need to wear masks? I believe totally in masks and social distancing, but how can we still need to wear masks after being vaccinated? And other question, under these circumstances, when are we going to go back to normal? Are we going to stop using the mask someday?
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me tell you what you can do right now. If you are vaccinated and you are with a person who is also vaccinated, in the setting of the home, if you're with your mother, your daughter, your wife, your friend, if you're with people who are also vaccinated in the setting of the home, you don't need to wear a mask and you can have physical contact. You can hug your children, you can hug your mother or your father, you can do that if everyone is vaccinated. Even if some are not vaccinated, as long as they are not at risk for serious disease. Namely, let me give you an example. Suppose a grandmother is vaccinated. She wants to go a few houses down the block to see her daughter and her granddaughter. If the daughter and the granddaughter are not vaccinated, the grandmother can still go in there so long as the daughter and the granddaughter don't have an underlying condition that make them susceptible to a severe case of COVID-19. If they're normal and healthy, the vaccinated grandmother can go visit the daughter and the granddaughter, take the mask off, give them a big hug, and give them a kiss. You can do that.
Okay, but I'm confused with something. I thought herd immunity works because by being vaccinated, I block the virus from spreading to other people. But this vaccine may not do that. So how does herd immunity work if I can still spread the virus even after getting the vaccine?
Now, but the fact is the vaccine protects many, 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 many people from getting infected. Some people might get infected and they might not even transmit it. We know that some people get infected. We know that. But not everybody who gets the vaccine is going to get infected without symptoms. So the overwhelming majority of the people who get vaccinated not only will not get sick, they won't get infected. But there will be some who might be infected. And when
So,
they are infected, it is unlikely that they will transmit it.
so there's a possibility that the vaccine can turn people into what is called a symptomatic carriers, which means they don't have symptoms, but they're still contagious, correct?
Yes, we've said that. That's true. But we're
Okay.
showing as the time goes by that it is likely that those people have a very small chance of transmitting it. We won't know exactly how much until we follow these people for a considerable period of time.
Okay. And now, Moderna and Pfizer are both mRNA vaccines.
Correct.
Has this kind of mRNA vaccine technology ever been injected into humans before?
Well, this is the first time, and the good news is that the results are really, really good.
Okay. But in essence, this is an experimental technology.
Well, it's a new technology, and it is proven in a very large group of clinical trials to be safe and highly effective.
Are you completely positive that this new technology is safe? I mean, how can we be sure there won't be long-term effects when these vaccines were seemingly developed so quickly and have only been tested for months and not years?
The speed with which it's been done is a reflection of the extraordinary advances in science, and there was no compromise of safety. But as I said before, in the history of vaccinology, you don't see effects that occur years later. Almost all of the bad effects, as rare as they are, and they are very rare, occur between 15 and 45 days from the time you get vaccinated. And as I said, because of that, just to be sure, the vaccine is not allowed to be distributed until 60 days after the people have been vaccinated.
Okay. I know we're running out of time, but I have some questions from the audience. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is not an mRNA vaccine, correct?
Correct.
What kind of vaccine is it?
It's a vaccine that uses a harmless common cold virus in which you insert the gene of the protein that you want the body to make an immune response against. You inject it, the body sees the protein, makes an immune response, and then protects you against infection.
And this is the first time it has been injected into humans too?
No. They have a lot of experience with Ebola in Africa with this.
Okay. And there are many Latinos in the community that are practicing Catholics. Last week, Catholic bishops warned the Catholic community that they should not use the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Can you explain why?
Well, some, not all, because there are Catholic bishops who are saying the opposite of that. And the reason is in the preparation of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, they used a cell line that was taken from fetal tissue from years and years ago to be able to produce the vaccine. So some of the bishops felt that because that was used, that we should not use the vaccine. But many Catholic...
Sorry, is that true that there is a residual DNA from an aborted baby in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
No, there's no residual DNA that gets injected into you at all. It's in the preparation of the vaccine. There is no residual human fetal DNA at all.
Okay. Got it. Now, kids, I'm concerned about my daughter. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I've heard death rate on kids is extremely low. Do they really need the vaccine? Are they going to vaccine kids in the future? Is it going to be mandatory?
But in order to be able to completely crush this outbreak, you want to get as many people, including children, vaccinated as you possibly can. Because when you do, you will get such a broad protection that you could eliminate this virus. And that's what we're trying to do. Also, even though children unusually can get a serious outcome, some children do, get very seriously ill when they get infected. And that's the reason why you want to vaccinate them. Not only to protect them, but they can be the vehicles of spread of the virus to other people.
Is it going to be mandatory at school? Because my daughter, when I enrolled her into school, it was mandatory to have all the vaccines.
Right.
COVID didn't exist back then, but is it going to be mandatory at schools to have the COVID vaccines?
I can't say that it is or won't. It is certainly conceivable that it might ultimately turn out to be mandatory. But right now, nothing we're talking about is mandatory. In the future, it could be similar to the measles, mumps, rubella, and the hepatitis and meningitis, all of which are required if you go into a public school. Right now, there is no mandatory anything about it, but someday it might be.
Okay, last question. With over so many variants and counting, how effective are each of the approved vaccines? Yeah.
I'm sorry, you froze for a second.
What if I get the vaccine, but it doesn't protect me against the new variant? Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so right now, the most...
I was telling you, with over...
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you were asking about the variants. The most prevalent variant in the United States is the one from the UK called the 117. And the vaccines that are available right now are highly effective against that particular variant. It's less effective against the South African variant, but that is not a prevalent variant in this country right now. The most prevalent one is the one from the UK.
And what if I get the vaccine, but it doesn't protect me against the new variant? Because I've heard that pharmaceuticals are working on a third booster shot. Is that true?
Yes, but let me explain what happened in a trial in South Africa with the J&J vaccine. It didn't completely protect against getting infected or getting symptoms, but it totally protected you against getting into the hospital and dying. So when you get exposed to a variant, you may not be completely protected, but it has a very, very good at protecting you from getting seriously ill.
And this third booster shot that they're working on, that says to me that probably they're not confident that the two shots are going to be good enough. Does it mean that the vaccine doesn't work against variants?
No, they're not saying that. They want to be doubly sure in case they have to give a booster. They want to determine what the effect of that booster is. So in order to be doubly sure, we're proceeding with studies to see what happens when you give a third shot. That has nothing to do with being confident or not confident. It means you want to be doubly sure that you're covering all the bases.
Good. Okay. Good. Well, I think we covered most of the questions, and thank you very much, Dr. Fauci. I had a lot of doubts, so I think I'm really clear right now. So thank you for your time and for being with us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Oh, how do I end this? Eduardo. Wait, aquí. For everyone, well, for those who speak Spanish, para los que hablan español, voy a subtitular la entrevista más tarde para que la tengan.